Ben, you're in Georgia. You're in this race. You helped try to get these two Democrats elected. So what's your sense of what's happening on the ground?
You know, on 3 different levels, my wife and I, we didn't get our mail-in ballots until today. So obviously we had to go to the polls and we masked up and the lines were not terribly long. We got in and we were able to get out. In terms of the ground game that we see down here, they're everywhere. Organizers are everywhere. They have been. Every door has been knocked on 3 or 4, 5, 6 dozen times. Some kids jumped out of a van yesterday and I was outside and I didn't know what was going on, but then I saw that they were canvassing on behalf of an organization. So they are all over the place. And then in the air game, as far as advertising and social media, there's a lot of energy and organization, really American. Their ads have really caused a ruckus here in Georgia. So it's been all hands on deck. So if we win or if we lose, it won't be because we didn't put our best effort in it. It will be because we gave it our all if we win.
So Ben, is there any way of, I know there isn't, but still, I'm gonna ask anyway. The only way to really know, especially in what was supposed to be a close election, is when the numbers finally come in. But gut instincts do matter. Sometimes you can tell how a race is going based on a lot of context clues that we colloquially call instinct. So do you have an instinct in this race or no?
Yeah, I mean, my instinct tells me that the Democrats have an advantage because they have a better ticket. Like everyone is seeing this as a ticket. It's Ossoff and Warnock versus Loeffler and Perdue, and just a combination of Loeffler and Perdue. They don't generate the motivation. Plus, we have the narrative on our side. We need this victory to accomplish some good. So that's a lot more interesting of a reason for people to go out versus Republicans who can't really decide if they want to support Trump or not because they didn't deliver Georgia for Trump. So they have confusion on the other opposite side. We have momentum on ours, but everyone needed to show up and we'll see what happens shortly.
All right, first set of numbers in. So that happened quick. Polls have closed and here we go.
I've got them.
Wow,
Can you read them?
30%. Yeah, you want to read them?
Yeah, sure. So we have 30% reporting in, and with Raphael Warnock versus Kelly Loeffler, Warnock is leading with 51.6% of the vote. Loeffler is at 48.4%. Between Ossoff versus Perdue, Ossoff is up with 51.3% of the vote, and Perdue is at 48.7%. So far it's looking good. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, let me say one quick thing about that. So guys, we're gonna look into it as we do the show here, obviously, but right now, so that's about a 3-point lead for both of the Democrats. 30% reporting is significant, but all the percent reporting stuff is kind of thrown out the door in these COVID elections, because in the old days, a huge percentage of people voted day of. And so as the percentages kept coming in from different places, it was a pretty good indication. By the time you got to 30%, most of the elections were over, okay? And then you see how close it was. Now it was 3 points, it's nowhere near over, but you'd be excited that you were up 3 points and not down 3 points. Now, in this case, what I don't know, and what we'll try to get to you throughout the night is this the mail-in ballots? Because if this is the mail-in ballots, which makes sense, polls close, boom, 30% get dropped in your lap, then it's not that big a lead for the Democrats. So, but I'm not sure about that. We'll keep looking at it throughout the night and get you the answer, right? But one thing we do know is if it's not mail-in ballots and it's actual precincts reporting day of in Georgia, then the Republicans are toast, because they are supposed to have that advantage in day of voting, and usually Atlanta comes in last. So if Atlanta's not reporting and it's day of, then they're gonna get annihilated. But if it's mail-in ballots, then you could even conceivably think it's an advantage for Republicans. Ben, I don't know if you know the answer to that with such a big number reporting.
Yeah, no, I don't have the specific answer to that. I will say that if that is, I have to agree. There was, if they haven't counted Atlanta, and we're talking about precincts, it's a good chance that this is a wrap. But we just don't have enough information to make that kind of call.
All right, I'm going to give you one little tidbit here that drives me nuts, and this is a actually telltale sign of what's wrong with one of the things wrong with the Democratic Party. According to Associated Press surveys, more voters saw Ossoff and Warnock as quote extreme than Perdue or Loeffler.
That's amazing. That is amazing. But okay, so it goes to show you what corporate media narratives do to propagandize these types of elections. But more importantly, we're talking about like Kelly Loeffler, by the way, in a desperate effort to get voters on her side, just yesterday said that she plans on challenging the electoral vote certification tomorrow. And by the way, for Perdue, he's encouraging Republicans to do it, but he won't be. He has no power because the new Senate was sworn in on Sunday, and Kelly Loeffler was appointed. She wasn't elected, so she actually does get to play a role in questioning the electoral votes. Anyway, I bring that up because that's extreme, guys. Okay, corporate media, that's extreme. Trying to undo the legitimate results of an election in order to give Donald Trump what he wants, that is extreme. I don't know how else to put it. I just don't get it. How is it that, and also the candidates, is it because Ossoff fought back during these Fox News interviews? Is it because during the debate he called out David Perdue and the possible insider trading that he engaged in based on Senate intel on coronavirus? Is that why he's so-called extreme? This is so dumb.
Yeah, so the reason why I say it's one of the main problems of the Democratic Party is because in reality, we can show you the facts behind why Loeffler and Perdue are massively extreme, from their extreme corruption to their extreme call for a political coup and to destroy democracy, to their extreme positions that 7 out of 10 Americans don't agree with. Ossoff used to be the most milquetoast candidate in American history when he ran last time for the House. Now he's gotten better, a tiny bit tougher, but a fairly standard politician. Warnock is a reverend. There's nothing at all extreme about them. In fact, I wish they were more extreme, right? What Washington would call extreme. But the Democrats cannot get their message out if their life depended on it. They're the worst at branding and framing that I've ever seen. And branding and framing is like 90% of politics. That's why you get results like that. Now, luckily, Trump rolled a hand grenade back into Georgia here, so that he might have cost him the election. I've got a little bit of an update on that in a second too. But Ben, did you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I was gonna say the reason they see one side as extreme and the other is because we have a system that incentivizes the type of behavior that Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue exemplify, right? We have a system that's rooted in greed and corruption. And so that's not ever going to be seen extreme. What's going to be seen as extreme is a reverend who's trying to tell you that you need to get your house in order because the poor people across this country aren't going to tolerate it much longer, America. So one's extreme because they're trying to do the right thing. The other one's never going to be extreme because we incentivize greed in this country.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.